Friends, Big World, Big Adventures, the movie, Thomas in Africa. Based on the original script by Andrew Brenner, adapted by Jeff Smith, illustrated by Tommy Stubbs. One sunny day on the island of Sodor, Thomas the Tank Engine met a race car named Ace. He was in a round-the-world rally, speeding through 5 continents. That's so exciting, Thomas peeped. I've always wanted to see the world. You should do it, replied Ace. You could be the first railway engine to go all the way around the world. The next day, Thomas and Ace set sail for the first continent, Africa. After that, they would go on to South America, North America, Asia, and finally back to Sodor through Europe. When they arrived in Africa, Ace sped off without Thomas. He was headed to a distant city called Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Ace could go wherever he wanted to, but Thomas had to stick to the rails. A yard manager gave Thomas lots of trucks to be delivered to the faraway city. The little engine set off all by himself. As Thomas passed through the stations, he was given more cars to pull. It was hard work. The hills were big. Luckily, Thomas met an engine named Nia, who offered to help. 2 engines are much better than 1, she peeped. Thomas replied that he didn't need help. But Thomas did need help. The cars were too heavy for him to pull alone. Nia didn't go away. She stayed with Thomas and helped him with his heavy cars. And when a giant elephant blocked the tracks, she and the trucks sang a lullaby. The elephant wandered off to nap beneath a tree. Nia stayed with Thomas all the way to Dar es Salaam. Okay, everybody, Thomas peeped. Please keep your eyes open for my friend Ace. Kwaku, a giant engine friend of Nia's, said he'd seen a group of race cars, but they're all gone now. Ace must have left without me again, said Thomas. Nia said. He doesn't sound like a very good friend. Thomas knew the next stop in Ace's race was Rio de Janeiro in South America. I'll just find a ship and go there by myself, wherever that is. Nia asked if she could help Thomas, but he told her to go home. Then he steamed to the docks and was loaded onto a ship. He continued on his big adventure all alone. When the ship was at sea, Thomas made 2 discoveries. The first was that Nia was on the ship. She wanted to travel with him and be the second engine to go around the world. The other surprise was... Ace was on board! Why didn't you wait for me? Thomas asked the yellow race car. You want to be a free spirit, don't you? Ace replied. You don't want someone else telling you what to do. You want to have fun. When they reached South America, Ace fueled up and left Thomas alone, yet again. What will happen to Thomas now? Turn the book over to read the rest of this exciting story. Thomas and Friends, Big World, Big Adventures, the movie, Friends Around the World. Based on the original script by Andrew Brenner, adapted by Jeff Smith, illustrated by Tommy Stubbs. Thomas had to find a way to follow Ace across South America to the next rally in North America. Luckily, a railway worker needed Thomas to carry coffee all the way to San Francisco in the United States. We can take this coffee together, Nia said. The engine steamed through the rainforest, pulling the heavy load. On the way, they found Ace. He had an accident, so they loaded him up and gave him a ride. They continued on their journey. Then, there was trouble. Thomas ran out of water, but clever Nia thought to use the forest's giant leaves to collect rainwater for his tank. Nia had saved the day. When they reached North America, Ace didn't want to go to San Francisco. He wanted Thomas to take him to the salt flats in Utah so he could get repaired and meet the other racers. Ace convinced Thomas to play a trick on Nia, and they sped off without her. Ace told Thomas to go faster and faster as they raced across the western lands. Don't slow down, mate! Let yourself go! Thomas went so fast, he came off the track. Luckily, an old mining engine called Bo, a cowgirl, and some cowboys got him back on the rails. As everyone worked together to help, Thomas realized he'd done a terrible thing to Nia. We should have stayed with her, he peeped. It wasn't nice to play a trick on her. At the salt flats, Ace met up with the other racers, but Thomas didn't continue the race. He He wanted to deliver his coffee and find Mia to apologize. He steamed on to San Francisco with his load. Unfortunately, Mia was nowhere to be found. Thomas hoped he could find her at the next stop across the Pacific Ocean in China. Thomas did find Mia on a snowy mountain in China. "I'm sorry. I wish I hadn't upset you. Can we still be friends?" he peeped. But before Mia could respond, an avalanche sent snow tumbling toward the engines. It blocked the way and sent Mia sliding off the track. Thomas was too small to pull her back onto the rails by himself. Just then, a Chinese engine named Yang Bao came crashing through the snow. He had a big plow to clear the way and was strong enough to pull both engines to safety. "Good thing I came along when I did," Yang Bao said with a laugh. Thomas and Mia thanked Yang Bao for his help. "I'm just glad you're bigger and stronger than me," peeped Thomas. "We're bigger and stronger, too, when we work together," said Mia. "So, where are you going now?" asked Yang Bao. "Continent number 5, Europe," chorused Thomas and Mia. Thomas and Mia made one more long journey, all the way through Europe to the island of Sodor. "This is my friend Mia," Thomas peeped as he introduced her to Emily, Percy, James, Henry, Edward, and Gordon. His friends steamed with happiness to see the two engines who had traveled around the world together. Thanks for watching! Click subscribe